Shalom. First and foremost, we like to give all honor and glory and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, to all the Akim out there teaching and preaching this truth with 144% sincerity, to the men, women, and children listening and learning, to the Bayashah Dabadat, the house of David. I am Bayashah Top.
I'm Darash.
I'm Kratza.
All right, and through the will and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, we have another lesson for you, and that the brother Darash prepared. All right, without further ado, what's the name of the lesson? Let's go ahead and get into it.
All right, the name of this lesson is going to be Humility Before Honor. And we're going to start off with the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 12. And it reads, Before destruction, the heart of man is haughty. And haughty is talking about that arrogance, that pride. And before honor is humility. So those who are puffed up with pride and arrogance, what's their future? What's their path lead to? Is death and destruction. And before honor, which is that that glory, that reverence, is humility, to be low, modest, meek. So it's always good to remain humble and not be puffed up with pride. Can you get
14 and 11?
Yeah, Luke 14 and 11.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 14 and verse 11, and it reads, and it's in red, so it's Yahweh Shai speaking, and it reads, For whosoever exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted.
So those who exalt themselves to bring themselves up high, they will be brought back, they will be brought low. So like I said, that goes for those people who are puffed up with all that pride and arrogancy, thinking that they're better than everybody else, can't do no wrong. They're going to be brought low, brought to shame. And those who are, read that next part.
And he that humbleth himself shall be exalted.
So to keep yourself low, be meek, humble, and modest at all times, and the Lord will exalt you.
God. And it's essentially, this is talking about, prideful, especially the pride of Esau, Edom, because a very prideful nation, they exalt themselves at all times,
Proverbs 22.
Yep. Proverbs chapter 22 and 4. By humility and the fear of the Lord are riches and honor and life.
So by remaining humble in all ways, and having that, and first and foremost having that fear of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, He will reward you with, that wealth, riches, honor, that reverence, that glory, and life, the everlasting life. Lord willing, we're up that number.
God.
All right.
I got it. Proverbs.
Or
it's like 1 Peter.
Yeah, 1 Peter 5.
5 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
1 Peter chapter 5 verse 6, and it reads, Humble yourselves therefore under the mighty hand of the power, that he may exalt you in due time.
Just saying earlier, you have to remain in a state of humility for so one day you'll be raised up, above those who through their own understanding think that they're better than you when they're not, because they're going to be brought low and shamefaced. Proverbs 11.
This is the book of Proverbs 11 verse 2 says, When pride cometh, then cometh shame, but with the lowly is wisdom. So
those who have, keep driving the point home, with pride comes shame, and with what was the last part?
It says, but with the lowly is wisdom.
So there you go. By having that humility and that fear, that's the beginning of wisdom. Roughly paraphrasing, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy understanding.
Okay.
So you have to have, be humble, and first and foremost have that fear of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, that He will open up this knowledge, wisdom, understanding to you.
Because you can't understand nothing without humbling yourself.
God.
You can't come into this thinking that you're on a high level, thinking that I got the secrets now, I know it all now. It's like, no, you don't.
God. Humble yourself, willing to be taught, by other men through the will and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua.
Because whatever level you at in this thing, there's still more to be learned. You got the deepest, the depths of this wisdom are, forever, forever ending.
That's why when you are learning under someone else that's been in this long, you don't be afraid to ask questions. If you don't know something, just ask. Don't act like you're gonna know it, because most of the time you're not. So just don't be afraid to ask a question. Philippians chapter 2 verse 3.
This is the book of Philippians chapter 2 verse 3, and it reads, "Let nothing be done there through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind let each esteem others better than themselves."
So let nothing be done in strife, which means conflict, or vainglory, which is that pride, that empty pride, and to esteem others, meaning to go before, to lead. So you have to lead others to be better than, read it again?
Esteem others better than themselves.
So you gotta direct people in the right path, to esteem others, to lead them down that path so they can get it right. Go to verse
4.
Yeah.
"Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others."
That right there is talking about, when you come into this, you got to be selfless. You got to be willing to, like I said, to be humble, but at the same time, you got to learn. You got to be able to learn from others as others can learn from you. So it's basically sharing the knowledge, being about the body and the brotherhood. Read verse 5.
Let this mind be in you, which was also in Yahushua.
Yahushua, when he came, he was a selfless man. He put others before himself. That's being humble and selfless. So we have to be the same way to a certain degree.
Sirach 40?
Yes, Sirach 40 and 18.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 40 and 18. It says, "To labor and to be content with that a man hath is a sweet life, but he that findeth a treasure is above them both."
So to labor and be content with what you have, that's just another way of saying to be grateful for what you have. And if you find the treasure, which is this knowledge, wisdom, understanding, that's above both. Because, as long as you stay humble and you have that fear, you will be increased. You'll be exalted. And that's what we all are hoping for, is to be exalted in that day.
This is the book of Hebrews chapter 12. Oh, you done?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a lie. This is Hebrews chapter 12, verse 6. And it reads, For whom Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, loveth, he chasteneth, as scourgeth every son whom he receiveth.
So chastising is to be, instructed, to be corrected. And, to be scourged is to be punished. So right now we're in that state of being, we're both in the state of being punished because we're in captivity and we're being corrected by this word.
Come. And I'm going to read all the way through, 9.
Okay.
If ye endure chastening, the power dealeth with you also with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not?
So, if you're being chastised, that means Abaratazah, the Lord's dealing with you. But if you're not being, if you're not a son whom the Father does not chastise, that chastise not, that shows that you're undesirable in his eyes.
God. But if ye be without chastening, whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons.
So that's pretty much self-explanatory. Read it again.
But if ye be without chastening, whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons.
So, if you're not being chastised, being corrected, in the Lord's eyes, you're considered a bastard.
Which is an undesirable child.
He's got baby kids in the apartments,
God. Or, you were out of wedlock,
Exactly.
You're essentially, you could be born through adultery. All right? You're a bastard child,
You have no father guidance. You have no guidance.
And a son is supposed to follow his father's orders and commands.
God. Verse 9. Furthermore, we have had fathers, gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live?
Well, read it again.
Furthermore, we have had fathers, gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the fathers, or Father of spirits, and live?
If we give our fathers reverence, how much more the Father of spirits, Yahweh himself? First and foremost, Yahweh Hashem Ashai should always be on your mind, and his law, statutes, and commandments at all times. This is the order, this is the command that we're supposed to follow. As good sons, we're supposed to follow our Father's orders. So, if our own father's in the flesh, how much more him?
This book of Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 5, it says, "For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity."
So, Lord willing, we're that gold that's being tried in that fire, and men through the furnace of adversity. And adversity is, that time of distress, Jacob's trouble. So, Lord willing, that we have that wedge of protection, and that we can make it through it and not bug out or give in or, lose what the end game goal is.
Okay.
We have to, we constantly have to think upon these scripts, and first and foremost, we have to have that undying and constant faith if we're going to make it, because that's what's ultimately going to get us through this. Because whenever it's coming, man, there's going to be a time like no other. It's going to be just straight up lawlessness and hell out here. So you got to prepare your mind for it, and your spirit too.
And you prepare your mind through the scripts, through reading the scripts and following the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. Fasting and praying. All right? Speaking of myself, always first and foremost.
I'm going to get, this is going to be, to further back that up, this is going to be the book of Isaiah, chapter 33, verse 6. "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and the strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure." So, this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, these scriptures, they're going to prepare you for what's coming. So you got to keep these scripts in mind at all times. That's why, 2 Timothy 2 and 15, roughly paraphrasing, you have to study to show thyself approved.
That's something right here.
Go ahead.
This book of Sirach, chapter 10 and verse 13, it says, "For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination." It says, "And therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities, and overthrew them utterly. The Lord hath cast down the thrones of proud princes, and set up the meek in their stead." So that's, out of pride comes destruction. That's destruction from the Lord. And and he's gonna replace them. This is that time of restoration. But he's gonna put those that fear the Lord in those high places. When that kingdom comes, the brothers out here, the hopeful elect are gonna be those judges of the earth. And that's the their recompense for doing things on this side.
So always remember, humility and fear is first and foremost, fear is the Lord's treasure. So pride goeth before destruction, roughly paraphrasing. So remember, it's to humble yourself and to fear the Lord, and the Lord will prepare that way for you. He'll open up this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding so you can get it. If you're prideful, he's not going to deal with you. Anyone else got anything?
God, I got, this is the book of Hebrews, chapter 2, and verse 10, and it reads, "For it became him for whom are all things, and by whom are all things in, being many sons unto glory, to make the caption or the salvation perfect through suffering." I'm going to read verse 11. "For both he that sanctifieth and they who are sanctified are all of one, for which cause he is not ashamed to call them brethren." All right? And I read that because it is through the suffering and through the humiliation, it is through not leaning upon your own understanding, it is through all these things that this lesson is to make sure, to humble yourself, all right, through the will and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, to continue on. We know what time we're in. If Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is chastening you as a son, all right, the promises and the glory belongeth to Israel. First and foremost, the elect. And Abaratazah we be of that number.
You gotta know your place, man.
God.
You gotta know the power of the Lord, and know your place. That's why the scriptures refer to Jacob, O thou worm,
God.
Because we're powerless compared to the Most High. We're powerless compared to these other nations right now. In the grand scheme of things, knowing that we will get, he will raise that standard and make us, more powerful than we could have even imagined, doing supernatural things.
God.
But knowing for right now, knowing our place and knowing what we have to do to get there.
God, and that's still going to rely on faith. You're going to have faith to be able to receive spiritual power. Your faith has to be on a whole nother level.
Right. That's a power in itself.
God. Hey, I got to finish this now. Going on to, once again, this is the book of Hebrews chapter 2, going on to verse 12. And it reads, saying, I will declare the name unto my brother in thy midst of the church will I sing praises unto thee. And again I will put my trust in him. And again, behold, I am the child which the power hath given me. All right? We have to trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and trust in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All this is connected for the faith. All right? To have the faith and to receive the chastening of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right? To remember that we are Yasharallah, princes, sons, and daughters of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai through the will and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai.
And there is no greater weapon than faith. You got anything else?
No, I could grab some, but it's good.
You sure you don't want to bring it out?
Good.
You sure?
Yeah, I gotta look up the exact.
God. You got something else?
I'm trying to make it too.
Let me think. I think I got some in the book of Baruch.
If I find it, I'll bring it out.
This is the book of Baruch, chapter 2, verse 30. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves. Verse 31. And shall know that I am the Lord their power, for I give them an heart and ears to hear. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name. Verse 33. And return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the way of their fathers which sinned before the Lord. Verse 34. And I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And they shall be lords of it, and I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished.
God.
So, we're in this captivity. We came to the remembrance of who we are, and we're turning back unto the Lord and putting behind our stiff neck and wicked ways,
Right.
and doing what we got to do to get ourselves right, because there's going to be a time when we won't be able to bring these lessons out anymore, because Sleazy E, he knows that this truth is getting out across the four corners of the earth, and he can't stop it. So he's panicking right now.
That famine is coming.
God.
Both ways.
Yep. He knows it's coming. That's why he's so motivated and so scared to get this agenda of his pushed.
Revelations 12 and 12 coming into play.
God.
Yep.
More and more every day. I got something.
Matter of fact, get Revelations 12 and 12 after he pulls that spot.
This is Isaiah 2 and 11. It says, the lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of man shall be bowed down, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in the day. So, the proud man is going to get humbled anyways.
God.
On the left-hand side, those proud, 2/3 Esau and heathen nations thinking that can't no one fuck with them. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to fuck them up. Verse 12, it says, for the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty, and upon everyone that is lifted up,
God.
and he shall be brought low. That's a promise right there.
You can take that to the bank.
And the Lord alone gonna be exalted in that day. Nobody else.
So this is the book of Revelations, chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So, however much time he has left, he's just gonna come with it. He's gonna lock down this whole world and put us into a state of dire straits and distress. Everyone in the whole world is gonna go through hell. So,
hey, I'm gonna start at 17. All right, this is the 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 17, and it reads, charge them that are rich in this world, that they be not high-minded, nor trust in increase riches, but in the living power, who giveth us richly all things to enjoy. All right. So that's for you high-minded and you not humbling yourself. All right. Verse 18, that they do good, that they be rich in good works. All right. Be rich in good works. Be rich in studying diligently. Be rich in brotherly love. Be rich in giving back to your nation to the best of your ability. Adhering to the law, statutes, and commandments. Be rich in that. All right. Continuing on. Ready to distribute, willing to communicate. What? Be willing to communicate. Be willing to talk and praise the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, as well as communicate needs. All right? Don't be overly proud. Verse 19. Verse 19. Lay up in store for themselves a good foundation against the time to come, that they may lay hold on eternal life. All right, and that's what we do this for, to lay hold on eternal life. All right, to be in order consistently, not sometimes, to be able not to ever go off, to adhere to the law, statutes, and commandments, and do the work and will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. That's why we endure our suffering and our chastening. Abaratazah, we be those men. I'm going to read verse 20. Sorry. Verse 20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust. Avoid profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science, falsely so called. So avoid these false doctrines, the pseudoscience, and all this. Understand that all this is going to fail through the will and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. All right? As the brother had said, the proud, all right, that proud man, he's already lost. It's just being played out. All right? They're already in a horrible, horrible case.
Right. You know, their time ran out. That's why they're acting like they is right now. You know. That's on real quick. This is Proverbs chapter 11 and 28. It says, "He that trusteth in riches shall fall, but the righteous shall flourish as a branch."
Huh.
No.
All right, and I got some.
No.
I got some right here.
To be explained.
This is the book of 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 14. "Wherefore, beloved, seeing that ye look for such things, be diligent that ye may be found of him in peace, without spot and blameless." Verse 15. "And account that the long suffering of the Lord is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul also, according to the wisdom given unto him, hath written unto you." So, be diligent that ye may be found of him in peace, without spot and blameless. So, we got to continue on in this work with all truth and sincerity, and not looking back. And you know, patience, that's suffering. So, you gotta continue to endure in this, and just hope and pray for that salvation.
And get away from those false doctrine. All right, those false teachers out there, who, with these other groups that don't follow after the true doctrine, after the 144% truth. All right?
Because their pride is, they feel like they so close with the Most High that they him and themselves. That's where their pride comes to. They feel like they can't be touched.
They're going to find out in that day just where they stand.
Follow the truth that the 1/3 of the nation of Israel is following. And for those who aren't woken up yet, who will follow.
Right.
All right? Because this is the unadulterated truth, starting with Apostle Tahar on down. All right? I say that and I give my testimony, and it don't have to mean nothing to men. All right? But as long as it means to something to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, that this is the true doctrine. All right? I ain't got nothing else. It's a lot, kid.
Me neither.
This is Isaiah 10 and 20. It says, "And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them." It says, "But it shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, in truth." It says, "The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power."
Hey, and through the will and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, this is where the might is. Yeah. All right? Through the doctrine of GMS, which is Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. All right? The true words, the unfiltered truth.
The elect gonna come back to this, to the truth. No matter where they at right now. When the time is appointed, the the elect gonna find they way. They're gonna find the righteous run into it. Talking about the Lord is a strong tower, or the Lord, the name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous run into it.
God.
They gonna find that name, Yahweh Bashim Shai, and they gonna get woke up, by the true doctrine, because there's one sound doctrine.
God.
And the elect in that day, they're not gonna have to worry about being put, having these other nations over them anymore. They're gonna be right back on top where they belong.
And it's like it's all through the name and the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. It's all. Matter of fact, read that. Can you read that script one more time? It's like it.
There's no way around this. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai changes not. Like it says in.
I just had that. I was like, I'll let it go.
It's the same yesterday
as the day before.
This is Isaiah 10:20. It says, "And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote him down." So we ain't gonna be in captivity by Esau no more. We're gonna get out of that.
God.
We ain't gonna have that yoke of iron on our neck. We're gonna break that. It says, but shall stay upon the Lord Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, in truth.
This is that truth. This is the truth. This is the truth, the truth, the truth. Hey, the truth will set you free.
Mm-hmm.
We endure our hell, but we are freely doing it. Nobody told us we had to do it. It is the truth that compelled us to do it. And that's the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Abaratazah we be those men.
Anyone else got anything?
I'm good.
Alright. So I hope this lesson was edifying, and remember to always, first and foremost, have that fear of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and to keep, to humble yourself and stay humble. Because the humble are the ones that are going to be exalted, while the prideful are going to be brought low. The humble are the ones that are going to receive the riches, the wealth, and the honor. So we would like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto
Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Rakakadash.
Double honors and respect to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who are preaching his teeth and his truths with 145% sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And I'd like to give a sincere salutation to the hopeful elect of the house of David that is scattered abroad. And to the next lesson, I say Shalom, Awa Ababa.
Shalom.